Gotta remember how to get to this item. There we go. Alright, we gotta track people down. So we talked to Maeda. Akechi should be in jail, so I probably can't talk to him right now. Oda. He was the murder victim. Nozomi. Not in the case. We're looking for these 4 people. But let's start with the lover then. Currently employed at Mach Bowl. I should take a taxi. It's clearly like right there. Mach Bowl. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. I think I actually managed to, like, skirt his aggro perimeter. That must be her. She, like... I guess she's cleaning the shoe rack? What is this? Are you Sawako Osami? Yes. What do you want? I'm looking into the murder that happened at Café Alps 6 years ago. There's nothing left to say. Yuichi Akechi might not have killed Oda. If we're going to find out the truth, I need to hear your account of what happened that day. Let's see, what do I ask? You were there when Akechi confronted Oda, weren't you? Yeah. I mean, I was the reason they fought, so of course I was there. It's not necessarily true. What happened after that? Did you see Akechi kill Oda? I took off, so don't ask me. Took off? What do you mean? Do you have any idea what it feels like to have your significant other walk in on you when you're with somebody else? Talk about awkward. And it would have been even more awkward if other people started coming in to see what the fuss was all about. So I ran out the back door. So what did you do after you left the cafe? I went home, but Yuichi followed me. We spent the night arguing about breaking up. Of course, I never imagined he'd already killed Oda-san. So you were saying that you didn't see Akechi kill Oda? That's right. I told the police that too. So nobody actually saw Akechi kill Oda, huh? That's a start. Let's see. Tell me about the person seen fling the scene. I don't know anything about that. I left the cafe before Yuichi did, so I don't know how he left. Right. Okay. Any idea why someone would kill Oda? Are you trying to be funny? No, I mean, besides your relationship with Oda. Did he do anything to make anybody else mad? I don't know. The police would have known if he had any loans out or anything like that, right? I wasn't particularly close to him, really. We just ended up hooking up that night. I see. Maybe Akechi really did kill Oda after seeing him with the Susami. They didn't find your fingerprints on the murder weapon, right? Right. They only found Yuichi's. We constantly replaced the customer's ashtrays with clean ones, but Yuichi must have been the only one to touch that one. I guess he was just unlucky. Yuichi took good care of customers and replaced their ashtrays often. I think he must have noticed that one was chipped. Let's see. Oh, that's it. Are we done here? Right, sorry. Thanks for the help. It's not lost on me the coincidence here of like, hey, I'm currently covering Phoenix Wright. So in parallel to that, it's like, oh, let's do the weird little Phoenix Wright mission in the middle of this game. Which there also has parallels because they made an entire game that's arguably inspired by Phoenix Wright in the form of Judgment. Or at least that's what people were claiming. I don't know if they're talking. So Kinoshita was at the scene of the crime. He's the current manager at Café Alps. It makes sense to talk to him too. I'll leave him for later. It's nighttime. I don't know if he'll be there. Acai. Nakamichi Street Popo. Tenkaichi Nakamichi. What? Was it Pronto? Did I misread that? Nakamichi Street Popo. There isn't a Popo. Theater Square Club Saga. I'll just go there. I'm already right here. I don't know if I was misreading something, but it looked like Nakamichi Street didn't have a Popo. I also have to double check the list of Popos. That one building said Pronto, didn't it? You're Imigawa, right? That's right. Who are you? I'm looking into the Café Alps murder from 6 years ago. What? Let's see. They say you weren't at the cafe the day of the murder, is that true? Yes, I spent the whole day at home. Alone? No, some of my friends came over and we played video games. And these friends corroborated your alibi? That's right. So it wasn't me. You know anything about the witness statements? No, I didn't see anything. I didn't say anything. I didn't hear anything. Whoa. Reaction almost makes him sound silenced or something. Can you think of anybody who'd want to kill Oda? I don't know anything. Don't ask me. Suspicious. Your prints weren't found on the murder weapon, were they? Next you're gonna start saying I wore gloves. Well, you're wrong. I wasn't anywhere near Café Alps that day. It just stands to reason your prints wouldn't be on it. Let's see. He's not. Let me know if you remember anything from around the time of the murder. Doesn't matter how small. I didn't do anything, honest, you have to believe me. Everyone's saying I'm the murderer, aren't they? Aren't they? No, nobody's saying anything about you. I don't believe you. Everyone hated me at the cafe. They used to harass me. Harassed you how? Someone even stole my wallet, CDs, and uniform out of my locker the day of the murder. Are you sure the police didn't pick them up as evidence? Absolutely sure. Somebody was harassing me, I tell you. Somebody stole Imagawa's things, huh? Oop. That's the surprise reveal. I accidentally skipped a few lines of dialogue because I thought I was just kind of leaving. Just kind of mechanically getting through the redundant dialogue bits. This is gonna bother me. Am I stupid? Like, what am I missing? What am I messing up here? Nakamichi Street Popo. Nakamichi Street. Smile. Pronto. Café Alps. Sega. Don Quixote. Sushijin. Popo Tenkaichi Street. Popo Nakamichi Street. Oh, it just doesn't make any sense. Okay. It just isn't on Nakamichi Street, but they call it that anyway. Sure. Anyway, I had to make it nighttime in order to talk to the detective, but I'm gonna make it daytime now. Partly because I'm not sure if Café Alps will be open or not during night. I'd rather save myself the trip, because I'm sure it'll be open during the day, and Popo should also be open during the day. In fact, all these places should be open during the day. I think I only had to make it nighttime so I could catch that guy at the bar. God damn it. And just think, if I do all of this stuff, I will have beaten the game with like a final completion percentage of like 40%. What a nightmare number. That's terrifying. Big boy destroyed. Come on. There we go. Yeah. Now go away.
Welcome everyone, I have returned from a brief interruption where I had to grab the box fan and put it in the window to blow all the smoke out of the kitchen because somebody did a lot of smoke in the kitchen. It's bad. It's real bad. So that's happening. But hey, anyway. Murder mysteries and all that, right? Café Alps, our favorite. I'm dying. It's Dr. Angryface and also his guy that stands uncomfortably close to him all day. You're Kinoshita-san, right? That's right. Who are you? Kazuma Kiryu. I want to ask you about the murder that happened at this cafe 6 years ago. Oh, that. Well, I don't know if I can tell you anything new, but go ahead. Let's see. What to ask. Where were you, and what were you doing when Oda was killed? I was here, in the customer area, cleaning up. I believe you can see me on the security camera tapes. I wasn't in the locker room when the murder took place. Let's see. They say you saw Yuichi Akechi fleeing the scene on the night of the crime. Tell me more about that. Yes, I saw him. That night, Akechi-kun disappeared right in the middle of the cleanup. I waited a while, and when he still didn't come back, I went to check on him. That's when I saw him leaving through the back door of the cafe. Are you sure it was Akechi? Well, I only saw his back, but I'm sure it was him. If you didn't see his face, then how can you be so sure it was Akechi? The man I saw leave through the back door was wearing our cafe waiter's uniform. But we know the other guy's uniform was stolen, so ba-ba. Aside from Oda-san, there was only 3 other male employees working that night. Akechi-kun, a guy called Asai-kun, and me. You can see Asai-kun spending the night closing the register on the security tapes. The only person I could have seen would have been Akechi-kun. I see. After that, I called the police and waited at the back door until they showed up. No one tried to enter or leave during that time. So Kinoshita didn't see the criminal's face. Kinoshita's testimony. Did Oda have any enemies? Well, I'm not sure. I didn't really talk to him much outside of work. I see. Let's see what to ask. Were your prints on the murder weapon? No, they weren't. I keep thinking that if I had touched that ashtray that day, I would have been blamed for the murder. Let's see. I'm sorry I couldn't be more help. Thanks for your time. Are you a detective, Kiryu-san? Not exactly. Why do you ask?
Yeah.
No reason. I was just wondering why anyone would be looking into this case now. I'm trying to help a friend find out if Yuichi Akechi is innocent. Innocent? You think someone else could have been the murderer? It's possible. Maybe it's that guy with the fucking angry face right behind you. I see. I would feel terrible for Akechi-kun if he really was innocent all this time. I can't imagine what it's like to be imprisoned for a crime I didn't commit. Especially for 6 years. That'd be horrible. That's why we're trying to find out the truth. If you think of anything else, let me know. Okay, I will. Now we're going off to Popo. But we're starting to paint a picture here. The potential out here is that somebody may have impersonated Akechi by wearing another uniform. So this is Nakamichi Street Popo. The Popo that's not on Nakamichi Street. Makes perfect sense. It's easy. Are you SI? Former employee of Café Alps? Yeah. Who are you? Kazuma Kiryu. I want to ask you about the murder that happened at Café Alps 6 years ago. Oh, that. So what do you want to know? Let's see. What to ask? You were at the cafe at the time of the murder, weren't you? Yeah. I think I was closing the register. It was after we'd closed for the night. You didn't go anywhere near the murder scene? The locker room? Of course not. I mean, why would I? I was still working, wasn't I? What? He's acting kind of funny. Do you know anything about the person seen running from the scene of the crime? No, I don't know anything. I only found out a murder had taken place when Kinoshita-san showed up looking as white as a sheet. I didn't see the murder at all. I see. Oh, but I did see Oda-san's body. Ugh. I can still see it. Ugh. So Asai went into the locker room after the murderer escaped, huh? Let's see. Do you know anybody with a motive to kill Oda? Well, you reap what you sow. I mean, it was bad enough he was always messing around at the workplace, but going after another employee's woman, get a grip. You make it sound like he'd slept with other women at the cafe before. Yeah. I saw him hook up with another woman there once. Another woman. Got a name for her? Yeah, I think her last name was Saito. I guess she was dating Oda-san at the time of the murder. I don't see anybody named Saito listed among the people related to this case. She'd already quit the cafe by the time. I heard she still hung around Oda-san, though. So Oda was dating somebody at the time. What if she put on the uniform and impersonated... like that's because the same motive, the whole cheating on somebody, but it's the other side. Let's see. Oh wait, this job's pretty boring, so thanks for helping me kill some time. You can ask me more, whatever you want. I see. By the way, do you remember Imagawa? Imagawa? Sounds familiar. Your co-worker from Café Alps. Oh, Mr. Gloomy? Yeah, I remember him now. Imagawa said he had things stolen from his locker. You know anything about that, Asai? What? And you think I had something to do with it? Why not? Sure. Yes. Look, I'm not judging you. I'm just trying to find out what you know. Well, I might have tried to make a quick buck or two off him. All I took was a wallet and some CDs I sold off later. Anything else? Huh? Like what? You didn't steal Imagawa's uniform? Yeah. Uniform? How would I make any money off of that? All I stole was his wallet and CDs, that's all. So that's all Asai took, huh? Maybe the police really did take the uniform. No, the murderer did. I missed one option, though. Your fingerprints weren't found on the murder weapon. Isn't that strange, seeing as you were one of the waiters? I just didn't like doing the ashtrays. I always left that to other people. So it's pretty natural my fingerprints wouldn't be on it, I guess. I see. Let's see. That's it. So he would just offload his work onto other people, and he would take advantage of other people and steal from them and so on. Just A+ coworker to have, generally speaking. I've talked to everybody related to the case, but it doesn't look like it's going to be an easy to prove Yuichi Akechi's innocence. I should meet up with Wakazo at Café Alps. We still need to find this person. We have this lady that might have been the murderer, for all we know. She was an ex-employee, and she was apparently around. I'm not gonna 100% believe witness testimony that the murderer was definitely male. If they can't even tell me who it was, they're just guessing who it was. Maybe that's her. Funny seeing you here. What's up? I'm taking one of my clients out on the town. We were in the area, so I thought I'd drop in and see you. Taking your client out on the town? Don't you mean you're going to one of those host clubs? My client just happens to like host clubs, really. It's just a coincidence. Speaking of which, isn't your perfume a bit strong tonight? Oh, really? I didn't think so, but... Oh, look at the time. Okay, I've got to go. He turns body first, then head. That Yuko. Who was that woman talking to Kinoshita? Her name's Yuko. That's Kinoshita-san's wife, Yuko-san. Kinoshita's wife? How do you know that? She actually used to work here. That's how I know her. She worked here. Is that so? That's right. She'd already quit by the time the murder happened, though. And she wasn't on the security tapes of the dining area, so she definitely wasn't at the cafe that day. I see. It doesn't sound like Kinoshita's wife, Yuko, is involved in this case, but maybe I should look into her anyway. So we have a character to follow up on, and our only detail is that they like host clubs. Well, there's a certain prominently featured host club in this entire narrative. I might want to visit. What's going on here? Sawada went and got himself arrested. Police found him in his office all roughed up. He'd returned most of his money, but now he wants to repay the rest in tuna. How is that going to help? I can't pay my bills with fish. I guess we should be happy he's trying to pay us back at all. It's not every day we get to have an entire tuna to ourselves. Are tuna, like, known for being hard to get? I don't know. Stardust. It does kind of bother me that dust is capitalized. No sign of her. I guess nighttime is their go-to at a place like Stardust. So let's go to New Serena. I get so disoriented when they teleport me over here. Like, that's not where I was. But it's like applicable and almost to being the right spot. So for a moment there, I'm always like, ah, here I am. Oh yeah, now they're active. Don't recognize any of these people. Oh, is that? That looks like Kinoshita's wife, Yuko. Oh, Kiryu-san, what brings you here? Yuya, what can you tell me about that woman over there? Who? You mean Yuko-san? She's been a regular customer of ours for years. What do you want with her? She looks awfully rich for somebody so young. She manages a venture-funded startup. Her company got popular making products targeted at young women. It's been growing pretty fast over the last 4 or 5 years. Is that so? Oh, Yuya, who is that? I haven't seen him here before. Is he a new host? I feel like I've been here enough that over the years that you maybe should recognize me actually if you're another regular. Yuko-san, this is Kiryu-san. We owe a lot to this man here, and no, he's not a host. Oh, I see. Well, that's unfortunate. This is my company, by the way. If you ever need anything, just give me a call. Sure. Bye now. Tonight was fantastic. We'll be looking forward to seeing you again. Business call. I've collected all the information I can right now. I should head back to Detective Maeda. Why? I never even fucking talked to her. Why would you think we're done, Kiryu? What? I paid 300,000 yen for the installation fee for this water purifier and haven't heard from them since. Motherfuckers never installed it? That's actually... I should be able to sue them. They straight up didn't... nobody... No trust in this universe. Nobody fucking follows through with their shit. Yuko's business card. Yuko Offices Limited. Yuko Saito, President. All their phone numbers are 0. I wonder if that's their go-to? Here in the United States, if you need a fake phone number, everyone's called a 555-5555 and stuff like that. So maybe it's just straight zeros is the placeholder phone number when you don't want to, like, put a real phone number in your games. There's a reason to do that, because if you include a real phone number, then fans might constantly harass whoever actually happens to have that phone number. You give it the wrong number of digits, or you just straight up don't give one. You just give like 5s. Nope. I still don't see anything off about any of this. Do you have a minute? Oh, it's you. So, did you find proof of Akechi's innocence yet? Haha. What was that you're looking at? Oh, this? This is the list of evidence we made during the investigation 6 years ago. You're taking such a hard look at this case, I thought I'd better take another glance myself. Can I see that? I guess. But you won't find anything wrong with any of it. I honestly can't figure out why you think Akechi's innocent. Wait a minute. What's this? What's what? I finally got it. Was it really this simple all along? No mistake about it. Somebody's framed Akechi. What? Are you serious? Was it Mr. Dart's explanation back there? Or even during a conversation, he has like a fucking MMORPG floating name over his head. It's just really funny looking. Yeah, I'll explain everything, but first, I need you to round up everyone related to the case. But it'll turn out fine, you'll see. Okay, just don't blame me if it doesn't. I'll get everyone together at Café Alps. That ought to work, right? Yeah, that's fine. I've got all the evidence I need. It's time to reveal what really happened 6 years ago. Well, can't wait to find out, because Kiryu is evidently not sharing. Welcome to Daytime Café Alps. Another transition. Did I make a mistake? Maybe I was supposed to be here at nighttime? Shit, I was trying to be proactive. These triggers get really confusing and weird. And the game doesn't really train you to use them because you can't control the time of day until you've beaten the entire game. But I guess I wasn't supposed to make it daytime. I was supposed to be there at nighttime. I guess that makes sense because that's when... rest until dusk. Trying to be proactive here. But I guess it makes sense because we met up with him in the evening. And I guess he was supposed to be getting them all together now. So I guess I'm supposed to be there at nighttime. Whoops. Listen, I tried. Who the fuck's honking at me? There's no cars. That was weird. Here we are. Well, I did as you asked, Detective. I closed the cafe and kicked everyone out. Now what's this all about? Kiryu-san and his friend here would like to talk to all of you. I have you here for one reason and one reason alone. I'm sure you all remember the murder that took place here 6 years ago. The victim was Kazuo Oda-san, the manager of this cafe at the time. One of the employees, Yuichi Akechi-san, was arrested for his murder. But did Akechi-san really kill Oda-san? I'd like to ask each of you to think back on that day. Do any of you have any evidence, any truly conclusive evidence that Akechi-san was really the one who killed Oda-san? I've been struggling this one since the day of that murder. Could Akechi-san actually be innocent? But before I could find out for sure, an article I wrote implicating Akechi-san as the murderer got published. But thanks to Kiryu-san here, we finally arrived at the truth of what happened 6 years ago. But if Akechi-san is innocent, that means somebody else is guilty. Exactly. But what do you base all of this on, Kiryu-san? I need to show them proof of Yuichi Akechi's innocence. What should I give? Proof of innocence. Sami never saw him. Somebody else didn't see his face. I guess the fact that Usami didn't see him is a starting point, maybe? Usami was the one who saw Akechi and Oda fight the day of the murder, isn't that right? Yeah, but I left in the middle of it. In other words, she didn't actually see Akechi-san kill Oda-san. Exactly. And only Usami saw Oda and Akechi fighting. So we can't conclude Yuichi Akechi killed Oda, which means the charges against him could be false. Sorry, but that doesn't hold water. What do you mean? Akechi's prints were on the weapon used to kill Oda. That's solid evidence to prove Akechi did it. Is that all you have to say? Huh? What do you mean? This was your case. You ought to know Akechi's fingerprints on the murder weapon alone weren't enough to convict him. I don't follow you. Spell it out for us, will you? There's evidence I should show them now. Fingerprints are not enough. All the different fingerprints? No, that doesn't prove anything. The fact that something was stolen from his locker? No. How do you know? Kinoshita saw the criminal flee but didn't get a look at their face. Okay. Oh wait, just the fact that there's a bunch of fingerprints. The ashtray used as the murder weapon hadn't been washed because it was supposed to be thrown out. Akechi's prints weren't the only ones on it. That means you can't prove his guilt from the fingerprints alone. Detective, is that true? Yes. It's just as he says. So you admit it might not have been my brother? Yeah. But that's still not enough to prove somebody else did it. Somebody witnessed Akechi fleeing the scene. That's another piece of solid evidence. Oh, this one's easy then. Think about it. You think the person actively fleeing the scene of the crime is the culprit, wouldn't you? Why would they run away if they didn't prove anything? If they didn't do anything? What do you have to say about that? Kiryu-san, do you have any information to refute the witness statements about Akechi-san? Let's see. There was a hole in one of the witness statements. I just need to argue that angle. Kinoshita, they didn't see his face. Kinoshita, you saw Akechi fleeing the scene, right? Yes, I did. Are you sure? I'm not lying. I'm sure I saw him. But you didn't see the face of the person fleeing the scene. You said that, right? Yeah. I only saw his back. So then it's possible you saw somebody else. Is that all you've got? The police wouldn't have arrested Akechi on just any old vague evidence, you know. There was also something that proved the person Kinoshita-san saw was in fact Akechi. And what was that? The man Kinoshita-san saw leaving the scene of the crime was wearing a Café Alps waiter's uniform. The only waiters employed at Café Alps at the time were Kinoshita-san, Asahi-san, Imagawa-san, and Akechi-san. The security tapes show Kinoshita-san and Asahi-san out in front at the time of the murder. We've also confirmed that Imagawa-san was at home. Therefore, by process of elimination, the only waiter Kinoshita-san could have seen was Akechi. Kiryu-san, is that true? No. It's absolutely possible that the person Kinoshita-san saw was not Akechi. I have a statement to prove it. Well, why don't you share this statement with us? I have a statement that proves the person seen leaving Café Alps may not have been Akechi. I need to present that now. Imagawa's stuff was stolen. There was actually another crime committed at this cafe the day the murder 6 years ago. Another crime? That's the first I've heard of it. Imagawa's uniform disappeared from his locker in the Café Alps locker room that day. Imagawa-kun's uniform? Yes, my uniform disappeared from my locker. Since you weren't present the day of the murder, when did you notice it was missing? The day after Oda-san was murdered, I came to work. The police were investigating, so I couldn't go in. But once the police left, I looked in my locker and saw that my uniform was gone. Come on. The police probably took it as evidence. I'm sure there was plenty of stuff missing from the crime scene. You're wrong. Somebody was definitely harassing me. Everyone teased me. Asai-kun, why don't you tell them you took my uniform? You took everything else. The uniform must have been you too. You're so whiny. Bully, police, whoever took it. It has nothing to do with Akechi or this case. No. Imagawa's uniform was the key to this case. Huh? What do you mean? I'll show you right now. I can show them 2 pieces of evidence to prove what happened to Imagawa's uniform. Evidence of what was seized at the scene, and how it doesn't feature that. And the other evidence is Asai's testimony? He never took the uniform. Look at the list of evidence I borrowed from you. There's no waiter's uniform on it. Let's see. You're right. I don't see any waiter's uniform listed. In other words, the uniform disappeared before the police showed up.
If the police didn't confiscate it, who could have taken it? It was Isai-kun, right? No, not Asai. He did steal things from you, true, but he wasn't doing it to harass you. He was just after some cash. Your wallet and CDs make sense, but your uniform wouldn't have been worth anything. Well, then who did it? Oh, you mean the murderer took it? Exactly. The criminal wanted to make it look like somebody else committed the crime, so they stole the waiter's uniform and changed into it. Then, as soon as that somebody came by, they hid their face and ran out the back exit. Is that true? So you're saying the person who stole Imagawa's uniform and fled the scene is the real criminal? Yeah. And who might that be? Is it gonna be a plot point that she has a boy cut hairstyle kind of thing going on? And so from behind, you'd mistake them for the... Yeah. They have the same haircut. That's what they're going for here. It's, yeah. Yep. The real criminal is, yes, is the only person it could have been.
Kiryu-san. それではその人物の名前を教えてください。6年前、小田さんを殺し、明智さんに罪をかぶせた事件の真犯人とは一体？犯人はお前だ。木下優子。 お前が小田を殺した真犯人だ。
Her? Are you serious? I can't believe it. What? Yuko killed Oda-san? An interesting theory. But why would I kill Oda-san? I didn't have any reason to do anything like that. Yeah, Yuichi Akechi's motive was Usami-san's relationship with Oda-san. Exactly how are Yuko-san and Oda-san connected? I need something to prove Yuko and Oda knew each other, somehow. What should I give? Oda was dating someone at the time. Oda was dating somebody at the time of the murder. Somebody who used to work as a waitress at Café Alps. What? Is that true? Yeah. And her last name was Saito. Saito? That's Yuko's maiden name. I hear you worked at this cafe until just before the time of the murder. Yuko-san and Oda-san were dating? I didn't know that. Yuko-san, is that true? I don't have to answer that. I mean, technically, yeah. You should probably be asking for a lawyer. I guess I'm technically not a cop. That guy's a cop, though, so you should probably be asking for a lawyer. Yuko. If Oda-san was dating Yuko-san, then Usami-san wasn't the only one cheating. Oda was cheating too. And that means Yuko-san also had motive to kill Oda-san. So anyone with a motive is a killer? You haven't done anything but hypothesize. Exactly. You've only talked about possibilities. Do you have any conclusive evidence that she murdered him? Conclusive evidence, like fingerprints? If only I had something with Yuko's fingerprints on it. A card. This is the evidence. Is that my business card? This business card has your fingerprints on it. We should be able to compare the prints on this card to the ones of the murder weapon. Give me that business card. Let's check it out right now. He just has his kit on him right now? Alright. We finished analyzing the prints on the card. These are Yuko Kunishita's prints. And these are the prints on the ashtray.
There. The prints on Yuko-san's business card are the same as the ones in the murder weapon. Do your prints stay the same for 6 years? Down to like the wrinkles on your finger like that? I don't believe it. How do you explain that? Even if my prints are on the ashtray, so what? How does that change anything? What do you mean? I ate at Alps the day of the murder. I must have just touched the ashtray while I was there. She's right. There's no crime in touching an ashtray. She was just a customer. No, Yuko's lying. I should call her out on it. There's no record of Yuko coming to Café Alps the day of the crime. No, you're lying. What the hell are you talking about? There's no record of you coming to the cafe the day of the murder. Right, Detective Maeda? He's right. We had Café Alps employees watch all the security tapes, and they gave statements that no other cafe employees, former or otherwise, visited the cafe that day. Right, Kunoshita-san? That's right. I've seen Yuko-san's face before, so I would have noticed if she was on those tapes. She definitely wasn't. Which means you didn't come to Café Alps the day of the murder as a customer. So why were your fingerprints on the ashtray then? Fine. Maybe it wasn't on the day of the murder. It might have been the day before. It's not that big of an issue. Nope. You had to have been there the day of the murder. You weren't a customer. You were the real murderer. Huh? The only people who could have had prints on the murder weapon were those who visited the day of the murder. How did you come to that conclusion? And now for the coup de grace. I just need something to prove that the prints on the murder weapon were... Prove when the prints on the murder weapon were made. Yeah, it's the fact that they wash them every day. Laura's testimony. The ashtrays here are cleaned every day, but your prints were still on the murder weapon. That means you had to have been there the day of the murder. But the day of the murder, a customer dropped the ashtray, chipping it. Yuichi Akechi saw the chipped ashtray and instead of washing it, decided to throw it out. Since you couldn't have come to the cafe as a customer that day, there's only one time you could have left your prints on the ashtray. You did it after Akechi dropped the ashtray in the locker room when he witnessed Usami cheating on him with Oda. Sometime after Akechi left and before Kinoshita came to check on him, you entered the locker room and murdered Oda. Then you put on Imagawa's uniform and went out the back. Isn't that right? Yuko-san, is what Kiryu-san says true? It'll only get worse if you stay quiet. Nah, generally speaking, admitting to murder is pretty bad. Shut up. I told you I didn't do it. I give up. Yuko, I'm putting an end to this. What? Do you know something, Kinoshita-san? I knew you came to the cafe that day, Yuko. What? How? I could smell you. It was very faint, but I could smell your perfume all around the crime scene. No way. Why didn't you say this earlier? I'd been in love with Yuko ever since we were working together. That's why I knew the scent of her perfume the minute I smelled it. Sometime after the murder, I happened to run into her again. Eventually, we started dating. One day I brought up the murder and her face went white. She fell quiet and avoided commenting on anything. That's when I was sure Yuko had been here the day of the crime. Well, I'll be. But I still didn't know exactly what that meant. Or, should I say, I didn't want to know what that meant. When I found out Kiryu-san was looking into that old crime, I decided to keep it all a secret. But now Yuichi Akechi has suffered 6 years for a crime he didn't commit, all because I didn't say anything. It's all my fault. If I had just spoken up, none of this could have happened. Gee, Kinoshita-san.
Sir, もう言い逃れはできないぜ。
優子さん、今一度尋ねます。あなたが小田さんを殺したんですか？
そうよ。私がやったのよ。
Will you give a statement that Yuichi Akechi is innocent? Yes. Akechi-san had nothing to do with the murder. Yuko, how could you have done such a thing? Was it really just because Odo-san was cheating? Of course that's what it was about. He said he was going to marry me.
事件が起こった日、あの日は彼の小田さんの誕生日だった。だから私は彼を驚かそうと思ってプレゼントを持ってお店に向かったの。もうお店も閉まっている時刻だったから裏口から入ってロッカールームに向かったわ。でもそこで見たのは他の女と浮気してる彼の姿だった。私はとっさに身を引いて隠れた。落ち着いて目の前で何が起きてるのか理解しようと努めたわ。そのすぐ後に明智さんがやってきた。明智さんはロッカールームの中を覗いて小田さんと宇佐美さんの浮気現場を目撃すると手に持っていた灰皿を落とし小田さんに掴みかかっていったわ。言い争うような声が聞こえた後すぐに宇佐美さんがロッカールームから出てきて裏口から店の外へ出て行ったわ。すぐに明智さんも宇佐美さんの後を追って店の外へ出て行ってしまった。明智さんと宇佐美さんが出て行った後私はロッカールームの中へ入っていった。小田さんは私の姿を見てすごいびっくりしたみたいだったけど浮気がバレたことが分かると開き直って別れ話を切り出してきたわ。宇佐美と一緒になるつもりだから別れてくれってね。その言葉を聞いた途端完全に頭に血が上っちゃって気がついたら近くに落ちてた灰皿で小田さんを殴っていたわ。それからは桐生さんが言った通りよ。私はロッカーにあった制服に着替えてわざと裏口の前で誰かが来るのを待っていた。少しして誰かが客席の方からやってきたから顔を見られないようにして裏口から出て行った。それで部外者の自分には絶対に疑いがかからないだろうって思ったわ。
Several years passed. I ran into Kinoshita-san, and we eventually got married. I started selling things as a hobby, and it soon turned into a business. Before I knew it, it grew into a large company. It's been 6 years since that day, and my life's been going so well. I can't believe the truth came out now, of all times. Yuko-san, did you ever think what it felt like for Akechi-san to have to bear these false charges? What it felt like to be knocked down to rock bottom and have their freedom stolen from him these past 6 years? And think that would have happened. And think what would have happened if we hadn't revealed the truth just now. How many more years would he have suffered? Only the person who took Akechi-san's freedom away can give it back. You need to turn yourself in. Testify in front of a court and pay for your crimes. Can I escort you to the station? Yes. Yuko, I'll be right here, waiting for you when you get back. Masaru, thank you. Unsurprisingly, I am never really prepared to figure out how to voice like 8 characters and keep them straight in my head, especially when I make them up on the spot, and then I'm like, shit, they're back. What were they a minute ago? Extra, extra, guilty criminal of 6-year-old murder turns herself in. The man originally accused of the crime now stands to be acquitted at a new trial. I was wrong about the media. I thought you just went from one person to the next looking for gossip. I didn't think you cared about the people in your articles. I figured you just about forgot about them the second they left your pages. But you've been worrying about my brother this whole time. You even proved his innocence. There are decent people in the media. Thank you so much for helping him. Nozomi-san. I also have to apologize for the way I treated you. I want to give you a reward for helping me get a retrial for my brother. You don't owe me anything. As much as I hate to admit it, I didn't do anything on this one. Proving your brother's innocence was all the work of Kiryu-san here. I certainly don't deserve any reward from you. What are you talking about? You did what a real journalist is supposed to do. What do you mean? Sure, you wrote an article saying Akechi was a murderer. But now you've written an article clearing his name. Isn't that the way a real journalist is supposed to resolve things? Sure, but I won't let this be the end of it. I'll continue to follow the truth until the day I put down my pen. That's my duty as a reporter. It's also like you don't get to. It doesn't really make sense for you to blame yourself for him being imprisoned. It's the police's job. And I'll be cheering on you. I'll be cheering you on. We did it. Fade away. And so ends my playthrough of Yakuza 3. Somehow I've made 20 grand from that. Yep, that's gonna be our endpoint, I believe. My final total came out to be 94 out of 95 sub-stories completed, with the only one not being done is this one. This is the hostess quest. I've seen a guide about the hostesses, and there's like I think 10 characters you need to like train up and make their stats perfect and make them hit the top or whatever, and it just sounds like a nightmare. Not to mention, like, who knows how many dozens of side quests I never found in the first place that might be tied to obscure things like shogi and darts or whatever, because that's how it goes. But you know, I did all the ones the game presented to me, and I finished the story, and we finished on a Phoenix Wright murder mystery just to even things out at the end. Thanks for watching, like always, guys. Don't know what the future of Yakuza is. My plan is to cover the entire series eventually, but, you know, eventually is a long time. Most likely, I'm only going to cover, like, 1 or 2 games per year. I can do it a little more comfortably now that I'm doing it in the hour time slot for RPGs, because they'll take half as long. They won't take... like, Judgment took 4 months. That was a long time. In the hour-long time slot, it would have taken about 2 months. So that's a bit of a change. This one was 40 episodes, which means that it would have been about 80 episodes if I had done it in the old half-an-hour time slot. So I functionally need to treat these games like they're the RPGs, even if I debate that a bit, just because, you know, that's just how long they are. And also, I don't think JRPGs are RPGs, but I do think that Yakuza is a JRPG, so fucking hot takes all around. I think that the franchise is like just as much an RPG, is just as much a JRPG as like Final Fantasy games that I've played. Like they have all the same general things. I just think that the organized crime and modern day aesthetic have people like conditioned to think of Yakuza games as being more like GTA or something, to the point where people who go into them not knowing what they are surprised to find out what they are. I know I was. But you know, you do a bunch of very long linear story segments, some side stuff, some main stuff. You go back and forth between text-heavy dialogue and then cutscenes that are briefly pre-rendered before you go back to the text again. You don't really affect the story that much. You just kind of play out however much of it you feel like playing. Your character levels up. There's random encounters. There's loot. Like, it doesn't have enough in it to be a proper RPG, but neither do JRPGs like Final Fantasy. But yeah, it's totally a JRPG. Like, this is just as much a JRPG as as Tales of Zestiria and Final Fantasy 15. Like this is definitely the same genre, as much as that might be a weird, like people might say that as a weird take. And I don't see any of that as being RPGs because you don't roleplay in any of them. You can't make story choices or play a type of character. You just kind of set out to see the game, and your only real choice is, do I grind or not? Is basically your only real choice out all the time. So that's that take on that. But generally speaking, you know, you if you're going on quests and the game is long and full of dialogue and whatnot, sometimes I might put that in the RPG slot, even though I disagree with the classification, just because functionally that it works in a similar way from a viewer side of things, as being like, I'm gonna watch this guy read a bunch of dialogue and go on long quests, and the series is gonna be like 40 hours long. It might benefit from going faster by being in the special time slot for that kind of show. So that's why these kind of games end up there. But I would figure just like vaguely every 6 months or so I might come back to a Yakuza game. Of course, the next thing is, do I play Yakuza 4 or 7 next? Because like Yakuza Like a Dragon, the new one that's coming out that's turn-based and all that. So I played Judgment when it came out, because Judgment, while taking place in Kamurocho, featured 100% new characters as far as I was aware. So I could get away with playing that while it was new, and then people wouldn't be like constantly asking when I'm going to play Judgment. But then supposedly Like a Dragon might I think I've heard hints that it might feature characters from the Yakuza universe, and that's bad, because even if it doesn't directly refer to the events of the main Yakuza games 1 through 6, it can still spoil which characters live and die and other elements like that, and take place in a world that is after the existing Yakuza games, which gives away what'll happen in the world and so on. So I don't know. I'll take in like advice and feedback on this episode basically about that topic from people that if people have had the time to go through and play it in the future and stuff like that. But it seems likely I'll have to wait to play 7 until after I finish 4, 5, 6, and also I might play Dead Souls. And also I'm still kind of holding out hope they'll localize those samurai games, because I want to play as Samurai Kiryu and Samurai Majima. I think there's 2 of those games. So I don't know, we might be in for the long haul here, but we'll see. We'll get to it eventually, but I've got other RPGs to play, like a lot. That is a well that will never run dry. See you next time. Where I'll hope... we'll see. I'm gonna try to revive Outer Worlds, because that playthrough died because of glitches. So I'm gonna give that another shot at troubleshooting that. I got a solution that might work, where I might be able to get a friend of mine to play that part for me and record it. And then I can just pick up after that by, like, you know, sending the save to them, and then them sending it back to me when they're done, and so on. That's a potential solution. We'll see.